Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I think all of you probably have had similar things. Mine just sound crazy when I tell
No,
them.
yours is another level, bro.
It's pretty intense, bro.
Give us a little rundown.
No, you don't need to. No. It's pretty. Only if you want to, bro.
I don't know, bro. Someone listening right now will hear that and be like, "Damn, like my life just changed."
Yeah, but part of it might not be his.
But Braven's life isn't going to change by telling the story. This is my opinion, but it's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good. I've told it. I don't like just throw it on social media. I've shared it a few places though, but I mean, it's hard to tell in a shortened version just because you can't really give context. But if I was to shorten it, essentially, when I was like 3, my mom passed away. My dad had built some really successful business, really successful. Like I said, he was working with this, Phoenix Suns, San Antonio Spurs, all around the NBA into the MLB, different things like that. And my mom passed away from kind of a really terrible accident. She had broke some ribs on a hiking accident. Anyways, took some medication, ended up drowning in the tub. Terrible accident. When I was 3, and so, anyways, that happened, and that's it's too much. I'm trying to shorten it because it goes deep.
Keep it rolling, bro.
I mean,
I'm here for it.
Essentially, my mom's family worked for my dad. They all worked pretty high up in that company. The company was growing, doing really well.
Dad took care of the family.
Yeah, he took care of all of them. Really took care of them. I mean, they were all, had 6-figure salaries, and essentially, like, they got to a point where they ultimately, there we go. They ultimately felt like, I don't know, there's entitlement, whatever that comes in, and they basically decided, like, hey, we're gonna like take this business and leave because we feel like we could run it without my dad or whatever, and so they kind of brought the whole company together. And when my dad showed up to work, they were like, hey, we're going to take this or we're all walking. This was a massive company.
Literally a hostile takeover.
Yeah, like a hostile,
literally icon.
Yeah, like literally hostile takeover. I mean, my dad grown to like 20 million a year, like huge, like not a small operation, and manufacturing all this stuff. And he kind of just told him like see ya. He kept the company alive somehow, and but essentially,
so they all walked.
Yeah, they all left.
No, not just the sisters.
Everyone.
They took like 90% of the company.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. My dad was left with like literally like basically like 2 employees, like 4 or 5 employees, including some like a couple staff, like warehouse staff, but out of like a giant organization. So, anyways, when the company survived, like, I mean, I'm not in my family's head, but those aunts and uncles essentially took a case to the detectives, to the police, and essentially, if you Google my family, if you Google my dad, it's like you're gonna find a lot of good and a lot of bad, and I literally can't tell you what's true. Like, you can decide for yourself what you believe, but essentially they made a case and said that they felt that my dad had murdered my mom.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine,
Bro.
Wow.
like having something like that happen?
Like he already, not even Braven, the dad already lost his wife.
Yeah,
I know.
And now he's gonna go to prison.
Yeah.
Wow.
Essentially, it got thrown out of court like really quick, like pretty quickly. Like there was nothing to go on, but they brought it back in. They had a really intense prosecutor who's actually been disbarred since from a lot of the things he did in that case that were malpractice. Like he literally cannot practice law anymore for a lot of like really terrible things that happened. But anyways, essentially that kind of took over my family's life. Lawyers aren't cheap. Like we kind of lost mostly everything. And then essentially my dad was convicted of manslaughter, which means, like, if you don't know what that means, it basically means he didn't mean to, it's not like he killed her, but essentially like they were saying you didn't do enough to save her was essentially the sentence. So he was sentenced to 5 years in prison.
Wait. No. Here, it gets more fucked up.
Crazy.
But wait, there's more.
He got convicted of it because he called the doctor that was the neighbor to come help. instead of calling
911.
911 first.
Yeah.
Think about how
That's
messed up
so
that is.
messed up,
Yeah.
actually.
What?
Like
The
literally.
like
neighbors
15
next door would
minutes
be
apart, yeah.
faster.
Because
Yeah.
they said she would have had a chance of maybe living if he called 911.
Not
instead
the
of-
neighbor.
Instead of the guy with the
Yeah.
doctorate next door who's practicing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and
How
I mean,
messed up
That's
is
so messed up.
yeah, and I don't want to get like political on it, but like our justice system is essentially established to like convict. So I mean,
Yeah.
they really just convicted him on like, you know, he had made some like poor decisions. He had some affairs like when I was young, and they basically just brought all that into the
Wow.
case, and that was how they convicted him. But anyway, so from basically when I was in 6th grade to like the end of my sophomore year, he was in prison. He got remarried to an incredible woman who's basically raised me and my brothers and my little sister, and she's stuck in it with our family while my dad was in prison, and we drove every weekend like 8 hours to visit him, and
Wow.
yeah, we had this company that was now failing, and my mom, who didn't know how to run a company, was running it, and yeah, I mean, like essentially failed, but because my dad had built such good relationships with people, we were able to like float and survive with a couple $1 million of debt, and just like
Jeez.
literally like survival mode, lost some houses and buildings, and ended up moving with my grandma and stuff. But
From like private jets to nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, like quite
not
literally.
jets, but my dad had planes and stuff. You know, like he was.
Yeah, bro, not jets.
Not jets, just regular planes.
Come on, man.
I mean, so it wasn't like it wasn't like things just went well. I mean, my dad was gone for 5 years. There was a lot of blessings that came in that. Like, you know, we sat at a table just like this for essentially 16 hours every weekend as a family. And I mean, what family talks for 16 hours a week with no phones and
Wow.
no anything? So
That's
What a
really good
beautiful
point.
perspective, dude.
yeah, I mean, it was
I would have
beautiful
never
for us as a family. in some
Expected to
ways.
hear that from anyone. Like,
Yeah.
No, it's a valid point too.
it is. What a beautiful perspective.
Yeah. No.
Most people could have just been pissed and mad at the world. That's what most people would have done.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't like I was just like stoked out of my mind.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Well,
but-
yeah, sure. I'm sure, dude.
He's like, most people would be upset their dad is in jail. Braven's like, can't wait to go see jail.
yeah. No.
So
it was,
you were in like middle school, you said at the time?
Yeah, so 6th grade till like the end of my sophomore year, and so, but yeah, there honestly was a lot of like really beautiful things, and like my family is super tight. It's like us against the world, and it was in that time like it didn't just feel like that, like it literally like was that. So it did some cool things for us as a family, and connected us in a lot of ways, and anyway, so. We moved through that. I have there's a whole lot of other stuff that goes into it, and so to spare a lot of the details, but I have a half sister who's also like pulled out a lawsuit on my family during that time, and when it came back to the business at the beginning, they wanted my dad's business. That lawsuit was for my dad's business. That at the time was literally like worth negative $2 million, and they were like the business or $50 million, and it was like we were like in debt, and my mom's like we can't like hardly. We didn't like have money like at all, you know what I mean? So, that was a really crazy experience, and we had to like get through that, and we didn't have any money for lawyers. So my dad was representing himself, and, yeah, I mean, it was a really crazy experience. But one thing that I learned from my dad, and I look up to him a ton, is like, he literally is just like, we're going to keep putting our heads down and like working. Like if I start to talk negatively about some of those family members and people that like came after us, like he's the one that's like, no, like we don't talk about that. Like we don't talk about them. Like we're not going to sit here and be negative about those people. We're going to keep moving forward, and they'll see just with what we do. And it's been that example, and like that attitude is been massive for my life, and not turning myself into a victim. And that was just my dad being such a rock, being the one in prison, going through that in the worst way, the one that lost his wife. I mean, that character, watching him have that type of character through it, definitely like shaped me in a lot of ways.
So he gets out of prison.
Yeah.
You guys get together. Tell us what you guys are doing now, because this is like the coolest part.
Yeah.
It's like the Rocky story, what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, so it was he got home end of my sophomore year. The company was essentially like 6 employees at the time, which was like me and my brother doing like pretty much all the, and this is my dad's company, so a separate company, but doing like all the little things, you know, like manufacturing, bottling, like labeling, putting lids on bottles, like doing all of that, like fulfillment. I did calls and stuff like that for a while. And so kind of just doing everything, juggling it. 6 employees at the time were, you know, really, really small. I don't think he would want me to share numbers as far as his revenue and stuff, but essentially like he's taken the company and I would say since he's been home, I don't know the exact number would be, but like probably grown it back up about by like 20x.
Wow.
Wow.
And got completely out of the debt, paid off anyone who ever gave him anything or helped our family in any way. He's at least given back, if not more, and completely cleared our family from all of that, which I can't imagine coming out of prison with like a mountain, like under a mountain of debt and all that. And again, like I said, it was like our family against the world. And, you know, we were so tight and that was when I fell in love with fitness. We didn't have a lot of money and my dad just would, you know, train me and my brother. Like that was what we did. We just hung out and just like lifted. And that was what brought me into fitness and, essentially like, you know, begging my dad to let me take some of his products and bring it into the fitness market. And so, yeah, it's fun. He's grown his side of things really, really big, does manufacturing, really high quality whole food formulas. And, we get to work really close to each other. We basically have like a piece of the office complex where his place is at. So I work, you know, just a little walk away from him. And so we get to still essentially in a way work together and keep growing and being our family against the world in a way. So
That's awesome, man.
Hope you got value out of that clip. If you want to see the full episode where that clip was from, click right over here. If you want to see other short clips just like that one, feel free to click anywhere on this side of the screen. But most importantly, I want you to hit that subscribe button right here and subscribe to the channel so you can be up to date when new clips are dropped.